Are your kitchen and bathroom way overdue for a remodel? Well, I got the guy for you. Call John Sellers at First Response Contracting, 484-256-7136. Both residential and commercial services, and he's licensed and insured. Call him at 484-256-7136. First Response Contracting. Hello, this is Brad Weisman. You're listening to Real Estate and You. We have a really special treat here today. I got to tell you, I've been waiting to do this show for a really long time, and it's finally here. We're bringing Hugo Cardona into the studio. Now, wait a minute. He is in the studio all the time. He's just not in the hot seat. That's Hugo, right. Welcome to the show in front of the camera instead of behind. You finally made it.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited.
You should be. I'm excited too, man, because there's so much about you that I don't even really know. So that's what's going to be great about this show is I'll get a chance to find a little bit more. So you've been doing this show now for me for how long do you think it is?
I think a year now.
A year?
Yeah.
Is it a year?
That, yeah.
Amazing, right? Time flies.
Yeah.
Amazing. So Hugo has put up with me for a year, which is pretty amazing. Oh yeah, it's rough. It's tough work, I know. But Hugo does all the behind the scenes. You know, I had him do one show, and then it turned out after I did that one show, it was kind of like, well, I can't go backwards from here. I gotta keep the same level of professional show going. And he's done a great job. But what you don't know about Hugo is that he's not from here. I mean, you can tell by his accent he's from somewhere, but we don't know exactly where, right? But no, you're from Guatemala.
That's right.
And the question I have is, how does a guy from Guatemala end up in Wyomissing doing video and audio work?
Well, it's interesting how I ended up here. My wife came to Guatemala to volunteer at an elderly home, and
Okay.
I worked in that organization as the interpreter and the tour guide. So
Cool.
I picked her up from the airport and showed her around.
You picked her up all right.
That was my thing, picking up girls.
That's cool.
Yeah, so she lived there for a year, and then I visited the United States for I think 3 times, and in 2016. We got married and I moved here to the States.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So there was a couple times you back and forth that you got the chance to meet the family, things like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, where did you propose? Here or in Guatemala?
Here. I sang her a song and everything.
You sang her a song?
That's righty.
You didn't tell me that one before. That's new right there. That's new.
That's righty.
So you sang a song. That's amazing. And then she said yes, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. What if she didn't say yes? What were you going to do? Just go back to Guatemala, I guess.
Ship me back to Guatemala.
Ship me back.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So that's really cool. So you were born in Guatemala. You're doing as an interpreter. You meet your future wife. And how did you get into the audiovisual thing? The thing that I was thinking about before is that I'm assuming that in Guatemala, there's not huge opportunities for audiovisual type work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there, but I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking that maybe there's more of it here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I remember my first experience with camera was because the gentleman from North Carolina actually let me use his camera, and I was able to mess with it and ask him the questions.
Yeah.
Because he was a photographer, and I was always interested in doing that, and watching behind the scenes of how movies were made and all of that, and I was always interested in doing that. And once I got here, I was able to buy my own camera and play with it and learn with it, and it was I really loved it.
Yeah, you're very good at it. You really are. You're very good at it, and it's like anything. I think it's either you have it or you don't have it. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the arts, I'm a musician myself, singer from years ago, and also did some musicals and things like that. But it's like a passion. There's something in you that allows you to do it, and I think it's kind of an outer being, or if you want to call it a higher being, coming through you, in a way. So, but yeah, because you're very good at it. So, what do you coming from Guatemala to here? Now you're doing audiovisual stuff. What do you see as the differences? Like, what's the cultural differences between there and here?
We wear stretchy pants. No, the food is delicious. The systems the United States has, as bad as they may seem internally, education, health. This is a great country.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to be here. oh man, there's so many differences. It's definitely a melting pot, like they say.
Yeah.
It's no joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
It is truly a melting pot, and there's a lot of diversity in thought and ideas and resources.
Yeah.
It was. I remember when I first got here, it was great to be able to observe why the United States was as successful of a country as it is.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. There are many things.
So being here is different than reading about it in a book or seeing it on a movie, right?
Yeah. I remember, well, that was one of the first things that when I went here and I went to, different houses, I realized, man, this is no Home Alone house, because
you thought everybody had a house like Home Alone? Oh
like
my
Home
gosh.
Alone, the movie. I was like, man, this house.
I want to go to that country, right? Yeah.
I know, but one of the mistakes or misconceptions that I have about the United States was that everybody was loaded. Yeah. Everybody was a millionaire in the United States.
That's funny, and we're not. We're as diverse as we are in other ways. We're diverse in way we get paid and things like that.
No,
But I think what's neat is you have the opportunity to go wherever you want to go.
Yes,
you have the opportunity.
Intellectual property is something that does not exist at least in my country, Guatemala. Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So different. How did you learn English?
I learned English with Akon and Eminem and MTV.
MTV. You had said too, Friends? You watched a lot of Friends?
I used to watch Friends. I used to watch Seinfeld. What else did I watch? Scrubs.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There were a bunch of shows that they will show it on the different channels that we were able to get in Guatemala that were in English, and they had the subtitles there.
So you would read that?
Yeah, I would read the subtitles and listen to the pronunciation and write my questions. And whenever I would spot, somebody who looked, white or American or European, I assumed they spoke English, and then
just go out.
Yeah, I just went at it with the questions. Yeah,
on how to say things like pronunciation.
Yes,
amazing.
Yes, that was the main thing. Because there were words that were just too close, and I'm still have an accent, but back then I words that like thought and taught and though.
Interesting.
And, all those words were tricky.
Thought and taught, because it's really the same except for as opposed to
exactly.
And maybe you don't have those sounds in your language as much either. That's the other thing. We always forget about that.
That's right.
So, what do you miss about Guatemala?
My family, the food, definitely.
The food. What kind of food?
It's the same thing like Mexican. I will say very
similar.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
Not as spicy?
It's pretty much the same. I wouldn't be able to tell. Like if I offer a Chinese or Guatemalan plate and a Mexican plate, he probably wouldn't tell.
You just gonna
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How about pizza? Any pizza down there in Guatemala?
Pizza, yes. There's pizza there. Yeah. It's much better here though. I like it better here. Yeah.
How about McDonald's? They have McDonald's down there?
They do, yes. That's how I learned.
They have McDonald's
English.
everywhere.
Yeah. That's how I improve my English. I would go to McDonald's.
I could see that. I'll take a Big Mac.
Yes. Yeah, but and the flip side though, if you want to learn Spanish, you gotta eat some tacos.
You gotta eat some tacos. That's exactly right. I love tacos. I do love tacos.
I do too, man.
You became a citizen. What was the date you became a citizen? Because I wanted to bring that up. And this is the part that I just love about Hugo's drive and his desire to keep moving forward in this country is becoming a citizen. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I became a citizen 2 months ago. It was I think a 5-year process. And the first 2 years after I got married, the first 2 years are conditional upon entering marriage in good faith.
Yeah.
And then, they give you an interview to see if you actually got married for real and not just in convention.
That's amazing. Tell me about that.
So they it's individually. It's an interview.
Yep. So you take your wife and you separate.
Yeah, and they bring me in. They brought me in first, and they asked me a bunch of questions like, what's her phone number? And what side of the bed does she sleep? And what color is her toothbrush? And where does her dad work? All these stuff.
And then they compare it with her answers. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
What if she says, "I have no idea who that guy is"?
He pay me. He pay me.
And then we're going, "See you, Hugo. You're on the next flight out of here, right?"
I know.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So I passed that interview, and then they remove the conditions upon marriage, and then you're just a regular permanent resident.
Yeah.
So then I apply for my citizenship, and then that's when they give you that test.
Yeah.
Where they test
and what's on the test? Give me some ideas.
They test you on civics and the knowledge of government and history.
Yeah.
And how much you know about how the community works too.
Okay.
So they ask you questions about, what's the Bill of Rights? How many? Escaping.
So you failed the test, is what you're saying.
I know. When was the independence?
Did you cheat on
declared?
this test?
No.
Independence. Yep, got it.
And
what about stupid questions?
Yeah, the third stupid questions.
Did you have to know any of the Neil Diamond songs?
No, but I always said about this, if there was a way to actually test the cultural knowledge of a person to see if ready to be an American, would that be Sweet Caroline?
Ba, ba, ba. That's what I was saying. Yeah, it's a Neil Diamond song. So you're saying that that should be part of the test.
Yeah,
right?
that should be
If you don't know that, then you don't know America, right?
Let me ask you this then on the spot here.
I hope you're not going to ask me a question I can't answer.
How would you test me? Like, what would be something that an American would have to know to see if you're American, culturally speaking?
What pie are we known for?
Oh, what pie are we known for? Pumpkin pie. Shoe fly.
Oh, you're failing miserably. We're gonna have to call the guards to come in and get you. No, America's like apple pie. It's as American
pie.
as apple pie. Yeah, that's all
that's
right.
true.
So you're learning on the show.
I know.
Here.
I just had the pumpkin because of the Thanksgiving.
What's let's see, what else? I'm trying to think. That's the only question I can think of right now, actually, which is a dumb one. So that's the kind of stuff. So they really try to stump you and they try to figure out what's going on.
They give you 100 questions and they ask you 10. And if you passed, I think 6 or 7, then you pass the citizenship test.
Unbelievable. So what else sticks out about the U.S.? Now that you're here, you're working, you're experiencing what I consider the American dream, the American way, which is basically you're doing what you have passion for, not what you're being told to do, being what you have passion for, and you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that to me is, when they talk about wealth, wealth is not a dollar amount. Wealth has to do with doing what you love to do, getting paid for it, and also having the amount of time you want to yourself.
Yeah.
That's more about wealth also, what wealth is. Being rich has to do with money.
Yeah.
So what are you finding here? Like, do you love it? Or is this, do you love being here?
I do. And in the oath that they make you take to become an American, I really meant that. I really mean everything I do. But, this is a great country.
Yeah.
And, there were many experiences that shape my thinking into who I am now. But, the way American people think it's some people will disagree, but it's very strategic. It's very effective. And, the United States is where it is for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's because the implementation of all these systems and all these, tweaking and optimization in the systems that we have that make this country a great country, but also character. The character of the average citizen is different. And
in what way? In a good way or in a
good way? Yes.
In a good way.
Well, at least in terms of civility and operating as a society with respect. That there's debates and ideas and ideologies, and that's a healthy thing. But it's the average person is very well educated. Yeah. People are able to articulate their thoughts better. It's more diverse, and diversity. Ideologies clashing and discussions are very good. So the average person is a whole lot more educated, and I will say coming here from there were many experiences that I had that opened my mind to see things that I did before. Yeah. There are many things that I did before that I only didn't because I didn't know any better. I just grew up doing and seeing that sort of thing. Yeah. And let me tell you an example. I remember one time I was on a boat with some friends of my family.
How old were you?
This was probably 3 years ago. So I was about 28. Something like that. And I was eating a corn on the cob, and we were.
Now that's here or Guatemala? In the United States. Okay.
So I had been here probably for about three years, and so I was eating a corn on the cob, and we're in the St. Lawrence River up, towards Canada.
Yeah, cool.
And I was eating a corn on the cob, and it's a very nicely preserved area. You know, it's a vacation, and you know, people are proud of that place there.
Yeah.
And I was on the boat, and I was done eating the corn on the cob, and I just threw it out.
Oh boy.
and I could feel, you know, everybody just, they looked, and everybody was quiet. And in that moment, I knew there are things, there are habits that, as much as we love people, regardless from where they're from, there are habits that we have.
Yeah.
That they're just not good. That I was able, and from people pointing those out to me in love and say, "Hey, man, you know,
that's not acceptable around here. That's not how we do it here."
Exactly. And being able to shed those bad habits is what you know. At least in my case.
Something so simple, right? Something so simple, and I knew where you were going with it. As soon as you started saying you're outside, and you're like, all right, done with this. And there it goes. Yeah. But that area, our culture, the way it is now, years ago, you could have gotten away with that here too.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is that, but we've gotten away from it. I remember when I was a kid, if you had an apple and you were done eating the apple, you threw it out the window. That's just what you did. Now this is back in the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
But now you don't do that. You know, and I used to always say, well, why can't? Well, my dad would say, well, growing up then, what if everybody did that?
Yeah. Yeah. See, that is the thing.
And the other thing was to that, the other side of that is you're luring the deer and the animals to the road.
Yeah.
And it's not safe for them. So there's two different ways to look at it, but you know.
Yeah. I man, there's so many things that I experienced that think about this, even meeting you and being able to greet and hear the conversations with the guests that you bring in, that expands your horizons.
Oh my gosh, expands my horizon.
I know.
Why do you think I do this? I mean, I seriously, it's not just, I mean, we say this a lot of times. I say that to after the show or whatever, is that how much I've learned. I learned from every single guest. I mean, I learned something. There's something that I take away. So in a simple way, this is self-serving in a way too, but I love doing this because I am learning.
Yeah, but kudos to you for taking action and doing it, because sometimes we have these great ideas and it's like, man, I would love to do this one day, right? No, especially if it takes time and effort and money to put something like this together. It does,
but I love doing it, and hopefully I get better at it. I grow with it. You obviously put on a great show for me here. You helped me produce it. I look at you and Tony, Tony is my social media person from Susan Design. She does a fantastic job too. So, you know, I think all of us together as a team make this a great show, and hopefully it'll just keep getting better and better. But I wanted this show to be about you, and hopefully people got to know you better, and you get to know the voice that you hear sometimes in the background. That was something that we added probably this year at one point. We added that, and I do enjoy that. And I want to keep you doing that because I think it's cool to have a different perspective, and you usually give a different perspective on things going on with the interviewers. So, is there anything else you want to say at all? I mean, about the show, about your life, about, Guatemala, anything at all?
What do you call a guy? You know, this material is rubber, right?
Yep.
What do you call a guy with a rubber toe, like with the toe and the foot?
Roberto.
How do you know? You're stealing my joke.
See, he's allowed to do that joke because he's Spanish. Now, if I said that joke, it'd be a little different. No, that's a good one. That's a cute one. That's actually one that's good for kids too. That's a dad joke. That's a dad joke.
That's right.
Thanks so much, man, for being here, for producing the show and doing everything you do. We love you. We love your work. We love what you're doing.
Thank you, man. Likewise.
Awesome. Great. Well, there you have it. Hugo was in front of the mic instead of behind it. Or actually, no, he was behind it. But he wasn't sitting at that little table over there. He was actually involved here, and we are so thankful that Hugo's here. So we will see you again next week at 1 o'clock on Thursday. Hope to see you then. Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136.